Hey guys, welcome back. I'm top music attorney, Miss Krystle, and this is a music business podcast dedicated to helping you hit six figures and beyond and stay legally protected. No, we don't have IG going as of right now, but that's okay. That was an intentional decision. What's up, fam? As you are filing into the chat, be sure to let me know where you're checking in from and what time is it today. We have a lot to cover. I it's going to be a robust show, all right? But we got Kat Von D. She's actually right now, today, continuing in a trial over a tattoo that she did and copyright infringement claims, DMCA violations, and they're just coming after her. And we have the complaint. I haven't seen anyone else go over this. I haven't seen that anyone else has grabbed it, so I'm gonna go through it for you. What's up, fam, in the chat? Good to see ya. And let me just do a quick show rundown. So we have Kat Von D, but also Scott Weiland, so Stone Temple Pilot. You know, we talk all the time about selling music rights. So for his estate, his music, including music by Stone Temple Pilots, they have an acquisition that happened. We'll talk about it. We're going to talk about Taylor Swift. So she's dealing with kind of this stalker nightmare. And in fact, I consulted with the higher powers that are my criminal law attorney friends before the show. And so we're going to get a little bit of the tea on, what you do in these kinds of situations where you have stalkers who are violating protective orders and the things that are meant to be in place to protect you. Uncle Nicky checking in from California. Hey, what's up? Matt checking in from Montana. Sending you lots of love back. Eric, how we doing? All right. So those are the news stories. And then I'm also going to talk about publishing, right? Music publishing. I've been going through it with clients recently, and I think that publishing in general is misunderstood. And so when we go in to negotiate deals, I don't know. If we had a better understanding of these things, it would go better. All right, and Evanescence. I forgot. Sorry. We're talking about Evanescence, they just hit another huge milestone. I've done Evanescence covers, which I'm sure we'll have to play during the show at some point. And so anyway, we're talking about all the things in the newsy, but all right. Well, that wasn't me. I'm not in control of what happens here, but there you go. That's a little teaser of what it's going to be. Checking in from New York City. Hey. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's dark, Winston. That is dark. All right. John on Facebook is checking in from Utah. Good to see you guys. Glad you can be here. All right. So we are streaming on all the places for Top Music Attorney on YouTube. This is the place you want to be. Check in here, subscribe here, do all the things here. And then, of course, during the week, you want to listen to the podcast. Who's listening to the podcast? All right. Eric's checking in from Seattle. The podcast is on all the places that you can listen to a podcast. Hello. Yeah, I'm kind of hooked right now on two different podcasts. One of them is The Game. I feel like everyone's on Alex Hormozi right now. I am one of them. And then also we have, weekly shout outs and love that comes from me to you via the Top Music Attorney newsletter. And if you want to be on that, you just go to topmusicattorney.com/newsletter. I'm sure I have it linked down in the description as well. But actually, we sent out the reminder right before the show, which we normally don't, but you got a little something. So if anyone came in from the email, what kind of tea you drinking? Then I love you. This is actually a hybrid. I am on dandelion and nettle, stinging nettle. So it's a combo. Hello from Arizona. All right. Not currently here, but hello. And then, of course, if anyone wants to apply to get some help with what you're doing with your music career, your music business, your record label, publishing, whatever, I got you covered. And so you can apply to work with me through topmusicattorney.com/apply. Winston's killing me over here. She has some great coffee. Hey, Joel's in the house. That's right. So, guys, we do this live so that you will have an opportunity to actually drop your questions and to get them answered live and all the things. Yeah, all right. So with all that being said, are we playing the music video first or at the end of the show? Okay, I guess we're doing the music video first, which will give me a second to gather myself. So hang tight. We're going to watch the cover that I did for Evanescence, because we're talking about Evanescence in this show. And then I'm going to be right back, and we're jumping right into everything. Don't cry to me if you love me, you would be here with me. You want me, come find me, make up your mind. Should I let you fall, lose it all, so maybe you can remember yourself? Can't keep believing we're only deceiving ourselves, and I'm sick of the lie. And you're too late. Don't cry to me if you love me, you would be here with me. You want me, come find me, make up your mind. All right, there's a little teaser. All right. So for those of you just filing in, where are you checking in from? What time is it? Last thing before we get into all the things that are happening right now in New Zealand. If you guys saw this week, because I've been doing videos on basically helping you not to be a broke musician in 2024, and I did an interview with a financial advisor. So I actually talked to an expert, a guy who gets paid lots of money to do this every day, to talk to you about how to make lots of money, how to not lose all of your money. And so that was really great. And so he explains how to not basically be a broke musician, and this was with Stephen Strum. So if you want to check that out after the live stream, definitely go watch that. Watch it later. Do it while you're, I don't even know, working out. It's a good one. And then also I did it was kind of like a reaction slash review of the Ice Spice. Oh my gosh. Ice Spice, the artist, and her songs In Hamood. So last week we had gone through the actual complaints, which is something I'm having fun doing with you guys. We go through actual complaints and lawsuits, and so I can show you how this works and how we're like actually doing this as lawyers. But anyway, we went through the court documents, we gave the full breakdown, and you can definitely check that one out. And then lastly, but certainly not least, I did 35 ways to make money. Okay, and so this is one that Orko did with me, and so we were just going through all the different ways that you can monetize what you were doing, whether you're a songwriter, a producer, right, a singer. So that one was really good, and I have like a free download and stuff that comes with it. So anyway, check out all the things. It's going to be lovely. All right. Let us see. That Orko, I think I want to bring you in. How we looking? Yeah. He's always like, hold on. I gotta give him fair warning. Oh, we're still not ready. Oh, he even turned off his camera. He's like, don't even look at me. I don't want to know, because this is going to be a long one. All right. This is exciting. This is so fun, but we need to get into all the things. So we have Evanescence coming up. We have Kat Von D coming up. We also have Taylor Swift and then Scott Weiland. All right, let's go back to the chat for a sec. Checking in. It is 12 a.m. in Australia. Hey. Bonjour. That's right. He needs a minute. Yeah, I don't know. He needs something. Thank you very much. All right. I'm trying to unlike this. All right, so I'm bringing in that Orko. Here we go.
Hey, shout out to the community. Thank you guys so much for being here. Make sure if you haven't yet, hit the like button. And just another reminder, if you're watching us on Facebook, if you're watching us on LinkedIn or any of the platforms, we do want you to come over to the YouTube community here. We are here. We are broadcasting from here, and this is where we do all the clips and all the extra cool stuff. So
that's right. So look, I kind of want to get into this, right? So guys, as we're going through this, definitely participate. We definitely want you to leave feedback, comments, questions, the whole thing. But I want to start with Kat Von D.
Cool.
So as of the recording of this, and in fact, let me do that again so you cleared your voice.
Yeah.
As of the recording of this, Kat Von D is still in trial. And so I'm curious to see what happens here, because we've had these tattoo copyright infringement cases that go to trial, but they are litigated way less than, let's say, music infringement, video infringement, that kind of thing. And so let me give you an overview of what's happening. So the drama was, in regards to the iconic Miles Davis portrait, which essentially what she did is she adapted it. Okay, so there's a portrait, and there's a photographer, and it's Jeffrey, hopefully I don't say this wrong, Sedlick. So Jeffrey Sedlick, and he is alleging that Kat Von D, in basically having this picture and then adapting it into a tattoo, violated his exclusive copyright in the image, right? And we see this come up before. So for example, NBA, there was a game, and the players in the game had the tattoos of the actual players that they were representing. And the tattoo artist, or at least one tattoo artist, was claiming, well, that's my creative work. I made that tattoo and you used it in your video game without getting my permission. It's copyright infringement. You owe me lots of money. So anyway, that's, we don't see these cases come up too much. So anyway, right out the gate, that's basically what's being claimed. And what we're going to do is actually go through the complaints, because they've gone, we were looking at the docket for this case, and it was like for 2 years that this case has been going on.
It's been going on for a little bit, yeah.
Yeah. So we figured, why don't we go through the actual complaints so you can actually see what this looks like, all right? And then also see what they're claiming, see some pictures, and then we'll fast forward to where we are today. How does that sound?
Let's do it.
All right, perfect. So I'll tell you what, let me pull this up. Here we go. You have to remind me when we're doing the shows.
Yeah, just to have this.
Yeah, like I never have this screen shared. All right, there we go. All right, here we go. So this is the original lawsuit, aka the actual complaint. And so
zoom in there.
All right, yeah, let's give you.
Yeah.
Is that better?
Yeah,
there we
good.
go.
Yeah.
So guys, when you see this at the very top, it goes United States District Court for the Central District of California. We are in federal court, okay? And we're in federal court because it's a federal question, which is copyright infringement, being brought by, of course, Jeffrey Sedlick, the photographer, against Catherine Von, how do you say his last name? Kat Von D, all right, as well as High Voltage Tattoo, which is the tattoo
I've never thought
shop.
about her real name. I've never thought about her real full name before.
It sounds fancy. Droshenberg?
Yeah, that sounds
maybe.
good.
Yeah, that sounds good.
That sounds good.
All right, and of the claims, we have copyright infringement under 17 USC 501. Okay, so just infringement of, stole the thing. Vicarious copyright infringement, meaning the tattoo shop they're asking be held liable because Kat Von D is or was an employee hired by the tattoo shop, and then also copyright infringement in general, and then removal of copyright management information. And this, so right now, through my law firm, I have a copyright infringement lawsuit, and one of the claims has to do with copyright management information. Guys, this is really important. If you put the little copyright symbol, let's say on your album cover or your book, and someone takes it, not only have they potentially, if they used anything from your copyrighted work, not only have they infringed your copyright, but if they remove the actual symbol itself, that's a different claim. That means different monies, all of which we're going to talk about. We're excited because we're learning all the ways that we can get paid for copyright infringement. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, so let's get into it. We have jurisdiction and venue. So they go, this is, a case arises out of copyright violation. So the Copyright Act, so that's why jurisdiction, and venue is proper. So courts, and sometimes this is what we fight about. What, are we allowed to be in this court? The answer is yes, according to the complaint. The parties are, we just read, it's Jeffrey Sedlick, the photographer. He is alleging against Kat Von D. He is alleging against the tattoo shop, which is defined in here as KVD Incorporated. And then, guys, we do something like this where it's like John Doe's 1 through 10. We have a place saver in case there are other parties who end up coming up later. So hereafter, it's just defendants. All right. When we refer to everyone that we're suing, it's just defendants. All right, so let's fast forward just a little bit and get into a little of the factual background here. So Sedlick is a world-renowned, award-winning photographer and professor. He's a 10-time recipient of the Communication Arts Award of Excellence and many other awards. So, we like to give credibility of he's not an ambulance chaser, which I think is kind
Sure.
of sometimes what that goes to, right?
Yeah,
So
just
his
establishing credibility of the person.
yeah,
I mean, you see this in a lot when they that's how they always start. They always start like with the Hall and Oates, complaint that we were seeing. They were building up, Daryl Hall is this, this kind of guy and all of his achievement. That's how they start him off.
that's right. All right. And so going on, he's also a professor. He's part of the faculty at the Art Center College of Design, teaching creative courses, business topics. He's the president and CEO of Plus Coalition. He conducts workshops, seminars. So he's doing a lot of things. He's consulted with the Copyright Office. All right. So this is all good stuff. We care about his background, but I kind of want to get to it. So he is the sole and exclusive owner of the copyright in the iconic Miles Davis portrait. The iconic Miles Davis portrait, this one right here, was created in or around 1989 and first published in a cover story in Jazzy's magazine in or around August of 1989. A reproduction of the iconic Miles Davis portrait is below. All right, so this is the one we're all concerned about. The iconic portrait is a world-famous portrait of Mr. Davis that has appeared in magazines all around the world. It's been featured. And guys, the reason why that's important, it's been featured in magazines and all this stuff has happened, is that it has value to it beyond just, I made it and, this is a great picture. Because later on, when we're trying to claim damages, we go, hey, no, I've actually received a lot of money for this. It's been used in all kinds of ways. So that's why we kind of mention that stuff. He's offered and sold non-exclusive copyright licenses for reproduction of the portrait for commercial and non-commercial purposes. He's the exclusive owner. All right, he got his certificate. So we're just building all the factual background. Now, defendant Kat Von D is a world-renowned tattoo artist, reality TV star, recording artist. She's doing all the things. And she owns and operates a tattoo parlor, an art gallery, a cosmetic company, a clothing company, and a shoe company. She sure does. Kat Von D is active on social media. She has a whole lot of followers. They say 7.4 million on just Instagram, 12 million on Facebook.
Yeah, she's
1.
huge.
What's that?
I was like, she's huge.
Yeah, 1.8 million on Twitter. And the date of this complaint. Now, again, this matters because they're going to claim, I'm sure she posted what she was doing everywhere. It was seen everywhere. And therefore, the devaluation of the image of what happened because she posted it without authorization. Again, likely what they're going to say is how I pleaded. So we'll see. All right. And then also the defendants. So this is the tattoo parlor, KVD Incorporated. They're in California. It's 100% owned by Kat Von D. So, all the things that happened had to do with and was within the actual tattoo shop as well. All right. So now we get into the actual background facts, which is Kat Von D. She neither requested nor received a license to reproduce, display, distribute, or make derivative works of or otherwise to use the iconic portrait for any purpose. The tattoo shop neither requested nor received a license to do any of those things either. So they haven't gotten the permission. They did it anyway in court, fine for me, essentially. And then going back to, it looks like March of 2017, okay, Kat Von D, while she was working as an employee of the tattoo shop, unlawfully reproduced the iconic Miles Davis portrait. And then I think we get into some more pictures coming up in just a sec. So in addition, they also made further unauthorized reproductions and derivatives of this portrait. And so we'll see why they're saying this. Or like, she didn't just make the tattoo, okay? But she reproduced it in additional ways. And this is how. So specifically, on March 18th, 2017, all the defendants published the following image to her Instagram. And we just went through,
Right.
what was it again for Instagram? How many followers?
Yeah,
a whole lot.
Millions.
All right, so she posted it. So obviously you can see the actual picture here, which was being used as a reference. And so that's what they're saying. There's been a reproduction of the actual portrait and setting aside what was, what we're seeing here. Now, when you're kind of looking at this, Does this look like an exact replication of this?
No.
What does this look like to you?
I mean,
I mean, it's certainly inspired at best,
it's
right?
yeah, no, I mean, it's definitely trying to do it, but I mean, there's a lot of differences to it. Like the eyes look different, even the fingers are a little bit different, but I mean, but it's nonetheless like she obviously has it right there, and that's what she's doing.
Right. Okay. So the above image, which was the Instagram post, depicts Kat Von D in the midst of reproducing the portrait. Okay.
And I'm
And
sure she
then,
has it also like hanging up in her shop is like, somewhere. It's like, oh, look at this cool thing I did. She's so proud of it or something too.
sure. And then she captioned the post, quote, "Can't believe this is the first time I've gotten to tattoo a portrait of hashtag Miles Davis. Thank you, Blake, for letting me tattoo you."
Mhm.
The caption also tags defendant High Voltage Tattoo with its Instagram username for the purpose
Sure.
of promoting and soliciting the sales of products and services offered by the tattoo shop. As the date of this complaint, the Instagram post featuring the portrait has almost 90,000 likes on it. All right. So,
Mhm.
again, they're going to like distribution. A lot of people saw this. Okay. And
Sure.
to their point, they're trying to profit off of it by tagging the
Well,
tattoo shop, which will lead to more work.
sure, but it's kind of tough, and I mean, I guess it's because what she's just so huge that it got his attention. Because I'm sure that that tattoo in some fashion is tattooed on a lot of people. It's a famous portrait. People get tattoos of celebrities and people and pictures and is used as reference all the time. Now, what it kind of makes me think of, and you can tell me if it's a similar kind of situation, but like think of like high schools, right? So when they have like a play, like a school play, and they want to they have to go and they have to license. They can't just do any play that they want. They have to get the rights to be able to do the play at a school. And I mean, I see where when you're trying to do an exact copy where you would have to, where eventually it could be made to where you'd have to get some permission. But right now, I mean, it's still original artwork as it's an interpretation of the tattoo artist as well.
Yeah. And that's what Kat Von D defendants are claiming. They go under fair use because there are exceptions. We talk about that, right? There's a reason why I can react to King Von's music videos on the channel or Taylor Swift on the channel and actually use their videos and their music is because under the fair use doctrine, there are exclusions, which includes for criticism, for education, for
Mhm.
reaction, for newsworthy purposes. And so, you can do things, but in this case, what they're alleging is that it's under fair use because we are transforming it, right? So she
Right.
goes, it's not an exact copy. I transformed it into something new. And I think Warhol is sometimes the example used, and they go the Warhol adaptations of these people, these real people, and it wasn't copyright infringement because he was doing his own
Just
kind of
his own
version of
thing,
it.
yeah,
But
with a
there's always
stamp.
the other piece of this, which is likeness. So if your face appeared on someone's body and then it ended up being on a shirt, like,
It's
do you have
just
a say in that? The answer
well,
is
I mean,
probably yes.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, but I totally get it. I just think they need to kind of figure this out. It's kind of like how when artists were started to get paid for when other artists would sample their music, like that took a while before that for that to finally happen, where artists were getting paid when they were getting samples, and some people just got kind of left out. Um, but I'm just I don't know because I get it. I get it from the artistic perspective, but I mean I don't know how you're really going to enforce that and what you really kind of expect to happen because it's an inspiration. Like I want a Miles Davis tattoo on me. That's I like that Miles Davis whispered or did the shush thing. I like
Right.
that.
Right.
So he could have just as easily went in there and go give me James Brown, but give me into Miles Davis. Shh, you know what I mean? And what, whatever. But I mean, you're seeing that a lot right now. And I mean, that's some of the conversation with AI, how it's just taking pieces of work from other artists is using it as its base for learning, and then it's creating new art with it. It's all in the same thing.
Yeah, and Wilson had a
for me.
question. So what if Kat had Miles Davis's family's permission for the image? Since it's a celebrity, doesn't the person, or in this case, the
Mhm.
estate, have the right of the likeness? And the answer is maybe. So, and it depends on what state you're in. Sometimes the publicity rights extinguish with the person when they pass, and sometimes they don't. Sometimes they're carried on. But remember, those are two different things I'm talking about, right? One is the copyright in the picture, right? And then the other is the
Yeah,
person's
that's what I'm
the
talking about.
right for example, for the right for the photographer to use and sell that picture. We're assuming he does. That hasn't been raised as an issue, but that's a really good point. So,
Make
even if the estate said, yeah, we don't care if they don't own the picture, it doesn't matter if they gave permission as to the copyright issue.
Hmm. We have a poll going on right now on YouTube, so make sure that you are coming over to YouTube and you're watching this live. But we're asking if you think that Kat Von D should be allowed to tattoo whatever she wants. She's transforming stuff, and so far the yes is leading. So if you want to vote in that, if you're on YouTube right now, make sure you vote in that poll.
All right. So then it goes on, and in the complaints, they make mention of a few other things. So, for example, there was a video posted just showing how she actually, did kind of the stencil, and that she was taking a stencil of and from the actual picture itself. And then she did another post, look at the messy progress of the portrait. So again, she
My man was
distributed.
angry. My man was angry when he was seeing all this, when he was getting all his receipts all together.
That's right. And then here we have another post. So final Miles Davis portrait. Here, I'll make this bigger for you guys. I mean, obviously a beautiful work. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, she's great at doing portraits.
Yeah. All right. So then let's just fly on through because, so they continue to document, how this all has impacted, the valuation and harmed the plaintiff and all the things. And there was a lot of analysis in regards to these posts, of course, because then all these other places, and they're like, high voltage tat reposted this, and then here was another one that they reposted. So her infringement led to additional infringements, which is basically the point of that.
So,
So now,
do you think when she was doing her little tag party, she should have tagged the photographer? Because he's on IG.
would that make any difference legally? The
No,
answer is no. That's
no, no,
that's
no, no,
called
no, no,
poking
no,
the
no, no, no.
bear.
No. I don't mean anything like legally or something. I just mean from the aspect of like, a courtesy, because she's putting it all out there, what she's doing and
Right.
whatever. Now, she didn't think anything of it, as I'm
Right.
sure most tattoo artists, they don't even think about it. They're like what? You know? So I just wonder if what his gripe was, because like I said, I'm sure that tattoo has been tattooed a bunch of times. I'm sure he's seen other painters that have seen that picture and have painted it.
What
Or
I tell to my clients, because we represent, some of the biggest stars all around, and I just go, understand that just because other people, let's say, do mixtapes and sample and all this stuff and they never get got, right?
Mm.
That doesn't mean it's not going to happen to you, right? So, Kat Von D, you are really big. You have a huge audience, and so the likelihood that someone's going to see what you're doing is a lot higher. And half of the time, these artists just don't even know that there is this likelihood. She knows now. She's been in this
You know
litigation
what?
for 2 years.
There could be a whole series of events where like this dude is like walking down Venice Beach and he sees those, painters on the side of the beach painting the Miles Davis portrait. And maybe he's just snatching them up and taking them. Maybe he's like that kind of guy. I don't know. But it is interesting where in some realms it's like you need to make sure that there's things in place, like I said, with like the plays and like schools and stuff, when they're trying to do that kind of thing, or if somebody, the pictures, and if they want to reproduce them, but at the same point, like that's okay.
Mhm.
So, but it is transformative. So
Yeah, and again, in the schooling context, you're using it for potentially educational purposes. So there's, fair use considerations there. All right, so back to then the claims. And so we go, the first claim is to just copyright infringement. So we go, Sedlick registered his copyright, and so he is able to bring this claim under 17 USC section 411A. Defendants in each of them unlawfully, so Kat Von D and the studio, unlawfully reproduced, displayed, distributed, and or made derivative works, which means they made additional works based on it. So that would have been like the Instagram posts, the pictures
mhm.
of the iconic Miles portrait without Sedlick's authorization, which was in violation of USC section 501 and on. So but it's basic infringement here, and then they just kind of outline the elements. But this is the part we kind of care about the most, which is, are they seeking statutory damages? And the answer is yes. So seeking statutory damages for up to
They want that
$150,000
150 per.
per infringement. All right.
So does that is that not only the tattoo, that's the IG post, that's the IG video, that's the other any other the story post she may have shared it. Is it all those, or is it just, the tattoo and then anything documenting she did of it covers all of it?
Yeah, and that's why we include the words derivative work. So anytime that there was an additional instance of infringement, which would have been, as they
Yeah.
allege, likely the
Yeah.
Instagram post, the answer is
Yeah.
yes.
I hear it. Oh. Yikes.
So that's where it gets a little expensive. And that's why, guys,
Ouch.
I'm always
You gotta
telling
get
you,
it
I'm
figured
like,
out.
you got to get your copyright registrations for your music, and you got to do it ASAP, because if you don't have your registration, when someone infringes your copyright, you might not be able to get statutory damages or attorney's fees. And then, in which case it's like, all right, well, how much was earned from her Instagram post? Realistically, actual money, probably not very much. But now we can say, oh, no. It was $150,000 for that Instagram post.
Ouch.
Ouch, ouch. All right, so then the second claim of relief, this is the vicarious liability. So we were talking about the actual tattoo shop. So defendants have the right to supervise, control the acts of their staff, essentially. So Kat Von D. They direct financial interest in the infringing acts of others because of, ultimately all these things were for the benefit of the business, because it was all tagging the business on Instagram. Come on over, hire us. So the plaintiff, Sedlick, alleges that the foregoing acts of vicarious copyright infringement were willful and intentional and in disregard of Sedlick's rights. All right, so let's go down. Is he seeking statutory damages? He sure is. So again, $150,000 per work and or preclusion from asserting equitable and other defenses. Third claim for relief, copyright infringement. So this one, through the alleged conduct, defendants knowingly and systematically induced, caused, and materially contributed to, actively encouraged, and participated in the infringing reproductions, creation of derivative works, public display, and distribution of the iconic Miles David. Do you see how they do the iconic Miles every time? That was their definition.
Well, I mean,
just in case the court missed it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that's how his legal name is now, is like iconic Miles Davis. I mean, he is iconic. It's Miles Davis, bro. I don't know what to tell you.
All right, so contributory
That was like his best
copyright.
day.
Right. So defendants benefited from the contributory infringement of the portrait. There were sales, there was brand promotion, there was goodwill, all these things. Again, we want statutory damages of up to $150,000 per infringement. Cool, we got it. All right, so this is the new one. So this is still under the Copyright Act, but guys, this is under 17 U.S.C. Section 1202, which is under the Digital Millennium Copyright Act. So this is a little bit different. So we have the Copyright Act, which is super old, and then we have the DMCA, which is a lot newer. And the DMCA came into play because it was like, you know what? We're trying to monitor infringements that happen online, and the Copyright Act is so old. It's not dealing with like online anything. And so the DMA has all these different new sections, including this one, which talks about the removal of copyright management information. It goes, hey, if you steal my video and my video has like copyright top music attorney at the beginning of it, so not only do you steal it and copy it, so it's copyright infringement, but if you remove my copyright management information, that's a separate claim that I have. And guess what? There are statutory damages for that too. So let's see what they're claiming. The iconic Miles David portrait was routinely published and with attribution, credit, and other copyright information, identifying Sedlick as the author. So they go, when we published the picture, it had the copyright management information on it. Sedlick alleges that on information and belief, that defendants and each of them knowingly removed, altered, and falsified copyright management information with the intent to induce, enable, facilitate, or conceal infringement before reproducing, displaying, distributing, and making the derivative works. Now let's talk about that for a sec, guys, because again, the rule under the law is that if you remove the copyright management information, it can't just be accidental. The actual plaintiff has to prove that it was intentional and for the reason of concealing the fact that you had stolen, right, and copyrighted, or copyright infringement. So that's where it gets a little tough, because we're like, all right, so then we're saying Kat Von D cut it off and didn't include it on the guy's body.
She tore off the tag on the mattress. You're not supposed to do that. You know what I mean? Now, I mean, the thing that I'm getting from all this is, though, to go through the process of this guy registering and knowing his shit about, these copyrights and stuff, like, they obviously have all these things in place for a reason. You know what I mean, as far as these conditions for it. And yes, I think it's going to be hard to say that, she to prove that she willingly, did that, to do all that. But I mean, but that's another box that's being checked on the, hey, you infringed my you infringed my photo. You know what I mean? You did it. You took it, and I don't know.
Well, yeah, but going back to just, like, what do they? So they're alleging that the copyright stamp on the picture should have been put on the person's body.
Right. But again, all of that stuff is in place to protect it. So it's kind of like, maybe it's like, back in the 90s when you'd get the, your video cassettes, and at the beginning it says, do not reproduce this videotape. You're going to get in trouble. You got the warning label right there. And then when you're going to dub the tape, and, cause you want to make a tape full of like 4 movies on it. I mean, they told you, cause they're telling you.
Right.
It's just a matter of just actually being enforced, right? I mean, that's how I'm looking at it.
Right. All right. So Sedlick, the plaintiff, alleges that defendants, Kat Von D and the tattoo shop, reproduced, displayed, and distributed, made derivative works of, and published the iconic Miles Davis portrait via websites bearing the URLs depicted herein under their own name, and removed Sedlick's copyright management information, including without limitation his name, copyright notice, contact information, and other metadata. When the defendants reproduced, displayed, distributed all the things, they knowingly provided, because remember, knowing was the big piece here. They knowingly provided and or distributed false copyright management information with the intent to induce, enable, facilitate, or conceal. So, I mean, they're saying what she's like, hey, there's a picture that I'm using to make a tattoo. I own this picture, or someone else owns this picture. I mean, that's what they're saying. As a result, so they are seeking statutory damages, which is the minimum of $2,500 and a maximum of $25,000 per instance. There was a case when we were looking into this where the derivative work that one of the parties had made, they took off the copyright information from the picture, and they sent out an email to like 11,000 people, and the court ended up counting all of those individual emails as separate infringements. So the plaintiff ended up getting a judgment for like $30 million. It was, yeah. So that per infringement language is yikes.
Is rough. It's rough. I don't know.
Yeah. Oop. It's popping up. It's like, hey, do you want to know about the news and the weather right now? Oh, we're just not going away. All right. So then the prayer for relief. Hey, court, this is the stuff that we want. The defendants in each of them, as well as their employees, agents, or anyone acting in concert with them, be enjoined. We want to stop his copyright from being replicated. Okay. And we want them to remove any content incorporating the picture. So that, I guess this would be, on the website, on the Instagram, on all the things. He wants actual damages incurred. He wants an award of all the profits, all the monies that Kat Von D and her shop have made, plus all the losses that he has suffered, right? Because remember, we were talking about, because she published this online, it's like devalued the picture. Right. So he's saying, I've now lost, something. The plaintiff
could his argument be, because, Kat Von D can be a polarizing, figure. And so like, he's just like, maybe having Kat Von D, I don't want Kat Von D attached now to my thing, because now her picture of her tattoo of my picture has gotten so much. Now I'm, associated with Kat Von D, and maybe I'm not into her.
Well, it's funny. So I was just reading this from Wilson. He goes, would the judge have to recuse him or herself if they had a Kat Von D tattoo? Well, interesting question. So to answer your question, sorry, I was reading the comments.
No, it's fine. Go ahead. Go, just keep going. You're fine.
Okay. So anyway, so basically, they're also asking, the plaintiff's asking for statutory damages. Okay, so this is the bigger one, and you get one or the other, guys. It's not both. You only get either the actual damages or you get statutory damages. And then constructive trust. We want all the monies that they've received. We want our attorney's fees, which at this point, P.S. right, because we were looking at the case docket. We're 2 years into this. Can you imagine what her attorney's fees look like?
Crazy.
Yeah. So, the attorney's fees alone will make you cry if she, obviously is successful in defending against this, or if they do get it. All right. So this was filed in February of 2021. And as we noted at the beginning of this, they are in trial right now. And they were actually on day 2. Today was day 2, right?
Of the jury aspect, yeah.
Okay. So I think during his testimony portion, he highlighted his creative process and making the portrait, the intention, right? So with the picture, showing the musicians quiet, and what was it having to do with like the negative space around, the picture, and
Right.
just showing, the demure of the music and stuff like that. So anyway, this is a more nuanced exploration of copyright rights, and
I think it's gonna be interesting to see what ends up happening for it because, I mean, if she ends up, having to pay out for this, I mean, this is gonna change how the industry is kind of run, I would imagine. I would imagine that every tattoo artist in the country is kinda keeping an eye on this case very closely because I can't imagine not everyone is playing it kind of fast and loose. Um, and especially just having to, educate themselves just so they're not in this predicament of being brought to court and just having to go through the hassle of it. Maybe just thinking twice of when somebody's bringing in a photo of what they can do and what they can't do, um, or just really making sure that their, you know, iconic portraits or whatever are drastically different, or there's something very just instead of him going like this, maybe he's doing like a peace sign, or maybe he's, what I mean, it's something just totally different.
yeah, and that's
But
the only place here that I'm struggling just a little bit with, because I get their argument on fair use. It was transformative in that
sure,
she did her own version of it. It's just she did such
agreed.
a good job. It
She's too
looks
good.
like she's too good. It was
She's
like a
too
copy and
good.
paste from what I could see, but I don't have a trained eye for this kind of thing. I'm just like, it looks like she replicated it.
But isn't that the concern from his point of view, from Jeff's point of view, is that to your average person or to your whatever, it's that you shouldn't have to be a trained eye to your whatever. They're like, oh yeah, dude, she did that portrait. I mean, every picture of her doing it has his picture right next to her drawing it or doing whatever she's gonna do to it. So there's absolutely no doubt. I just wonder if it would have been different if she may have even, tagged him or even maybe flattered him, doing the iconic, doing a redo of the iconic Jeff said, like, Miles Davis portrait on this guy's arm, maybe flattered him a little. I don't know. I don't know where the rub is really coming from, because it should be is like, wow, that's really cool. Like, he could be looking at this, wow, that's really cool. I think she definitely is gained more notoriety in the tattoo world from this thing, and she did an incredible job. And I think that news travels very far. People pay a lot of money and travel all over the world, for sure, for all over the country, to go and visit her tattoo shop to get a portrait done from her.
Yeah.
So that obviously is reinforcing her brand. I don't know how much she made. I don't think she made any money off the actual tattoo itself. I think she did it as a favor. So
Yeah, that's what the client said. He didn't pay anything for it. I think it was someone
they need
that
to
she
get it
met
figured
on a
out.
film set. She
Yeah,
and so, something like that. So obviously we're going to see what happens here very soon. And just jury will deliberate, and
make
I
sure
will,
Make sure you're
yeah, make sure
following
you
Top Music
subscribe.
Attorney.
We're
Well,
going to
Top Music
provide.
Attorney on IG too, because the follow-up will probably come a lot quicker there, as far as just, we'll probably get a short on as soon as we get it. We're waiting to hear about what happens today on day 2, so
We'll see you guys on the next one. All right.
Oh, I messed up. I should have give it the shh. We should have both went shh at the end.
That's right.
All right, hit it. Wrap it up, and then we'll hit the shh.
You want to hit it? All right, let me
Hit
see. What's it good? So we'll let me see.
it. Hold on. Give me a second.
So we're going to continue to follow this. Obviously, follow on the Instagram because we'll get updates there a little bit faster than here. But we'll keep you guys posted until next time. I don't know. Our editor watching this right now. You can make the executive decision.
You just didn't hit the gavel with it.
Oh yeah, I didn't hit the gavel. I don't know.
You didn't hit the shh and the gavel. I don't know. We might get sued.
That's right. All right, moving on. So that was all the things Cap on D. I say let's move on and chat about Taylor Swift. I saw. Yeah, give us some fire emojis, guys. For those of you watching live, let's go. Let's talk real quick
story
about
2.
That's right. Story 2, Taylor Swift. Before the start of earlier today, in regards to Taylor Swift and her stalker,
hold on.
I consulted. What? You gotta just go with it. You really need to just.
You're killing me.
Search your feelings.
All right, for real.
Shut them down.
For real this time.
It's always for real.
No.
Right. Earlier today, in preparation for this story, talking about Taylor Swift and her stalker, I called my criminal attorney and asked him for the tea. And I just go, look, Taylor Swift and this guy, David Crow, he's back after having a court hearing, after getting a restraining order, after he was like hanging around her house, I think 30 different times. So people are really nervous about this guy for Taylor Swift's actual safety. So I'm calling the expert and I go, why isn't he locked up in jail? Because my understanding and the way that it works, it's a little bit different depending on what state you're in, but typically it's a misdemeanor. All right. So if someone gets a protective order and it says you cannot come close to this kind of person, and then you do and you violate the order, right? It's already a misdemeanor, and there can be jail time associated with that. There can be fines. There can be all kinds of things. So this guy, 2 hours after his latest court appearance, is seen on video. He's smoking near a McDonald's, and this is only 2 blocks from Taylor's New York City home. All right. So I don't know. Is there the reason for concern here?
Terrifying concern. I mean, especially if they can't keep him, kind of under control, and he has absolutely no fear. Like, he leaves court. It's his 3rd time that he's, been arrested in like a week for the same things. And, what I was reading was the conversations that he was having with the officers that were approaching him were just like, what are you talking about? I love her. He just like, he seemed aware of what was going on. He just was like, I can't help myself. What am I going to do? So that's super concerning. But I mean, we've covered a couple instances of Taylor's different stalkers that she's had over the years. And it's a terrifying thing. It's a terrifying thing for people to go through, for sure.
Yeah, so during the arrest, Crow faced criminal contempt for violating the protection order. Okay. So I guess he's claiming to be from Seattle. He said he was flying home, but the police investigated. They're like, this doesn't seem to be true. No ticket. I mean, doesn't this guy work? Doesn't he have somewhere to be? Oh my gosh. So
there's a lot of people that got nothing to do.
I mean, this isn't obviously the first time that we're dealing with stalker cases. We had, with, what was it? Nikki Sixx of Motley Crue.
Nikki Sixx from Motley Crue, like, he just settled some things because he has multiple stalkers like that have just been kind of out in the public, and he just kind of wrapped one of them up because they harass his family, they harass his mom, kind of similar with who else was it? There was somebody else, Ashanti. Ashanti was also having to deal with stalkers very publicly.
I know Jennifer Lopez.
Jennifer Lopez. And then obviously the famous Bjork, or Björk if you're bougie, has one of the most famous cases where she got sent like a letter bomb, and like police intercepted it right before, because the guy ended up unaliving himself. And then they found his videotape of what his confessions and stuff, and found that he mailed it, and they stopped it right in time. But it's just absolutely terrifying.
Yeah. So anyway, as far as and I go, so at what point,
John
at,
Lennon, yeah,
as this
absolutely.
continues to escalate for Taylor Swift and he violates, these protective orders, yes, he can go to jail, but it will just continue to escalate for him to the point that, maybe the court would even order a anklet, an ankle bracelet so that he can be monitored constantly. If there wasn't just jail time or sanctions, I mean, it will continue to escalate because it has to. But obviously now we're going to have criminal prosecution, which comes next. So it just went from like a misdemeanor to something a lot more serious.
Yeah, I don't even know, like, for people like that just it's a compulsion of him, you know what I mean? So I don't know if even like, ankle monitoring, if police are busy
Right.
in the area, are they going to get there in time? Um, you know, we talk about Jennifer Lopez. Jennifer Lopez actually had a guy that was living in her pool house for like a
That's
week,
right. That's right.
before he was like, found or whatever. And like he had, like, I think he flew to California from like Rhode Island. So like these guys, they're willing to make the trip. They're willing to risk it all for some of this stuff. And it's just, it's scary. And the thing of it is, it's just, regular people as well get this happen. It's just, it's really scary for anybody to have this happen.
We'll continue to follow in all things Taylor Swift. All right. So I kind of want to talk about Evanescence. All right. So, I forget what this was for. I did like a reaction
She did an
to
interview on,
rock.
it was like, what was it?
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
This
hold
was a
on.
while ago.
I will literally tell you in 2 seconds. So just vamp and I'll find the answer for you.
Yeah. So anyway, we got more updates because we know you love the Evanescence, and that's why. Yes, that's right. We got the gavel. I'm on the gavel game tonight, team.
What
I
was
don't
it?
even need you reminding me. Look at that.
Wasn't it like Revolver? Oh no.
Anyway, moving on. Your time to find it has
Yeah. Hold
expired, and
on.
we are
No,
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 no, no,
no.
no.
Mm-mm,
It's something like,
mm-mm.
oh
You ready?
no. Oh no.
Of all my favorite Evanescence songs, of course, Bring Me to Life is at the top of the list, and they have now officially, with that song, entered the Billions Club for
Yes.
streaming. All right, so I can't believe the song was from 2003. That's the craziest part, but it's cool because I thought that they had this new surge of activity because of all these new trendy viral videos of girls doing covers on TikTok specifically, and that's not actually why. So I guess it had to do with and what was it again? They were on a playlist, but it was also
The
where was it?
Stranger Things.
Yeah, the Stranger Thing. That's right.
Yeah.
And so it was in 17,000 TikTok videos, which was separate from the covers that I was talking about. But right, so it was like a mashup with a Stranger Things song, Chrissy Wake Up,
Yeah.
which I'm sure we'll find so you guys can see it later on in the recap. But anyway, so now they're in the Billions Club with what do we have? Aerosmith, Dream
Aerosmith,
On,
Dream On,
Eye of the Tiger.
Paradise City from Guns N' Roses, I Want to Dance with Somebody, Whitney Houston. Yeah, I mean it's a very, you're a hit. You got yourself a hit song.
Yeah, which is awesome. And obviously and you were referring earlier to this other interview that she had done, and she was talking very much about the fact that there's this male, rapper singer on it, and this was Paul McCoy.
Yeah, from
And
Twelve
how
Stones.
at the beginning of Evanescence kind of getting signed and doing all of that, the label was telling them, hey, we have
Mhm.
this movie, Daredevil, and we want to have this big song and all this stuff, but you have to have a dude as part of the band. So it was like this bigger discussion. It wasn't like, let's do a little feature,
Yeah,
it'll just be
no,
this one song. They were forcing a guy on her. That sounds so like
Yeah,
stereotypical.
yeah, no, it was I think it went actually a little deeper. I think they were already in talks with the label that wanted to work with them, but Linkin Park just hit. And
Right.
so they wanted them to have like a male guy permanently in the band.
Right.
And Amy Lee was like,
Was
"No."
not happy about that.
They're like, "We'll walk away from it." And then the label came back and brought them this opportunity for this Daredevil and like, "Well, can you just do this one with them?" And she was like, "Cool. Okay, I'll do one if it gets me to get my other songs or whatever." And I think she wanted like another single, like Going Under or something like that, or one
Well,
of some
right,
of
and
her.
she was super concerned because she was like, "I think this is gonna hit," and this was the first thing. She goes, "If the first thing that people hear from Evanescence is this sound with
Right,
this guy who's not in the band, it's gonna ruin everything." But she
right.
did take the gamble because yikes, just they pulled out totally. So when this opportunity came back and they're like, "Just do it, let's see." Obviously it didn't end up making a huge difference because people just fell in love with her and what they were doing otherwise. And then, later on with her like re-envisioning, with like the orchestral
Yeah.
version of her songs that she's done and the touring and all of that, she just cut out
Synthesis.
his part.
Yeah, she just cuts it right out. No, and that interview, I'll probably link the that video that you did the reaction to her interview. I think it's just really good, just the way that she talks so honestly about it, and she's, always just kind of stayed true to herself. And I recently found out I didn't even really notice that she wrote the rap, so that was kind of interesting that I learned. I figured that dude wrote his part or somebody else came in. I didn't figure she wrote it. Um, but obviously a huge song. Um, and I don't know, very, very, very cool. She hit that billion, like, what, last year on YouTube with the music video. So,
Yeah.
she's just in the billions, and she's been doing touring. I saw some of those clips of some of her, latest tours and stuff, and she sounds great. She sounds great.
Yeah, no, Amy has been doing a great job, not just with coming back and re-envisioning what she wants for Evanescence and
Mm,
doing it in a way that she's like super digging, but she's also more on social media and she's sharing. And I like that she's just playing the game. Like I feel like she took a beat to do the mom thing, and she's still doing the mom thing, of course. But she's felt like it was a good time to come back, and I love it. So
yeah, and we've,
go
uh, we've
Evanescence.
covered we've covered an Evanescence song as well, so, if you haven't checked that out, you can watch Miss Crystal sing, "Call Me When You're Sober." But yeah, we
That's
love
right. There you
Evanescence in
go.
here.
That's your to-do item. Go search Miss Crystal. Probably when you're sober on YouTube. hmm
Mhm. Yeah,
All
I
right.
wanted
So
to I wanted to work that plug in earlier, but I forgot. I was like, "Oh,
I
no.
know there's too much to keep track
So much
on
going on
during the
today, so much going
show.
on today."
Always feel frazzled, mildly frazzled when we start the show because there's so much to cover in the beginning, and I'm always just not quite prepared. And I have it written out, but I kind of just go
I'll
blank.
tell you what, the last year when we started implementing the show outlines that we have for everything, that really helped just remember everything that we need to do because it's just all outlined. A
hmm
lot of work goes into the show.
It does, but we love you
Sometimes you
guys.
wouldn't think so, but there is a lot of work that goes into each and every episode.
We're talking about Scott Weiland, and besides
Yes.
being an incredible singer and having incredible music, Stone Temple Pilots, all the things, side projects, we're going to talk about it. But there's been a collaboration, and this is different because we talk about these big music catalog sales all the time, right? The Dr. Dre's and the Justin Timberlakes and the Justin Biebers, and they're just, casually in like the $200 million block. But this is a little bit different, which is why
Sure.
this is interesting. So, and I guess we can talk about the songs, but Primary Wave is who we want to mention. So they're the partner that came in to kind of collab with Scott's estate for kind of exploitation of the music catalog, which is smart, and I say this sometimes to families that I represent of these legacy acts, right? So the estate, and I go, you don't really know how to distribute the
Right.
music or make the money or whatever. So if we bring someone in who does, they can make money and then you sit back and collect a check, right? So anyway, they joined with the managers of Weiland's estate, which was Brian Harris Frank and Dana Dufine.
Yeah.
And so they express their excitement. They're working with Primary Wave, and we don't know the exact terms of the deal, but obviously we can point to other similar types of deals. So we had Smokey Robertson's catalog, which was
Smokey Robinson, yeah.
a $25 million deal. We had Stevie Nicks And what was this? Wasn't it like 80% of the
80% of her
songwriter?
songwriting.
Yeah, and when we do these deals, sometimes we're selling the entire catalog and meaning the masters if someone owns it, if the label owns it, if the artist owns it. Sometimes we're just selling publishing. Sometimes, we're selling, again, just in this case, Stevie Nicks, it was 80% of the songwriting. But
That was for
also just
$100 million. I mean, we covered
yeah,
Huey Lewis and the News, and they got 20 million from Primary Wave. But with this Stone Temple Pilots, or the catalog from Scott Weiland's portion of it, he's joining Lane Staley of Alice in Chains. Primary Wave got the Alice in Chains stuff, Disturbed and Skillet as well, as far as the rock stuff. So they're kind of moving into that lane as well. It was pretty crazy when I went to their website and I saw all the other just different catalogs and portions and
a
songs and
lot of
stuff they
legacy
own.
stuff, like Whitney Houston and Bob
Whitney,
Marley.
but even stuff is like Andre 3000, like they own like
Mhm.
Hey Ya, and like it's
Really?
pretty, yeah, and a lot of like Outkast, not like the whole Outkast catalog, but they got a lot of that too. But I mean, with this partnership, I mean, they're having access to Interstate Love Song, Creep, Vaseline, Adhesive, one of my favorite songs, Big Bang Baby, Big Empty, and then obviously all the Velvet Revolver songs as well, which were huge. Was a huge project that Scott Weiland was involved in as well.
Yeah. So if you're interested in stories like this, we are always covering these big catalog sales, and there's different ways to do this deal or these types of deals. So you definitely want to subscribe
This is
so you don't
different.
miss any more as it kind of comes up. And if you have questions on how this all works, drop those down below. Oops, that was the double. I gave
Oh,
you
Dave.
the double gavel.
No, that's cool. I mean, that's cool though. I mean, that's interesting because we don't see a lot of times. We just see the catalogs being bought outright. Interesting fun
Right.
fact. I actually, my old band, got to play with Scott Weiland. That was really cool for me. He sings with a teleprompter. I got to watch the guy hit his stuff. It was in
Oh, it
his.
wasn't animated.
No. There's literally a guy that sits over at the space bar, at the arrow key, and just kind of hits it down for him for his monitors. But this was I saw him during the point. Obviously he died of an alcohol and drug overdose, but this was a time when he was getting sober, so he was just kind of just staying away from all the action. We got to see him and stuff, but he did great that night. It was a very fun opportunity. Very cool.
It's a good little tidbit. Eric, you can add that in somewhere. Okay. So I want to talk about publishing. This is so unbelievably important, but why do I feel like I missed one? Who did I miss?
No, we did Taylor. We did Stone Temple
Evanescence.
Pilots, Evanescence, and we did Kat Von D. So,
Well, look at that.
but before, why don't you just go ahead and take a sippy really fast, and let's do this.
Your number one legal resource for artists, producers, and record labels. Get contract templates, one-on-one legal advice, free master classes, and everything you need for your music business. Go to topmusicattorney.com. Hey, we did that. I forget where we were going. We were going somewhere, and I was like, "We have to record this. Let's do it."
I think it was like the New Year's Eve thing.
Mike asks, "How about Korn? What about Korn? We love Korn over here on top."
Oh, let's talk about Korn. You have been working on a Korn cover that you posted to your Miss Krystle
Oh, you see that?
Instagram. I did.
I didn't show you that.
No, you
I think
didn't.
you should. No.
I thought you did a good job. I like
Yeah.
it. It started out very nice. I thought it was going very, very nice. I was waiting to see how you were going to handle the next part, but then the short ended, so I didn't get to see how the next section of the song was coming along.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm getting into this whole I just want to try stuff and I want to see what the fans kind of like, and if
No,
if something gets a real reaction, then I'll keep working on it. But
no, I think that's exactly it, and that's something that we talk about on this channel, and obviously during different segments and stuff. But testing your music before you actually put a lot of money or a lot of time. You can do little leaks, and by her just teasing that, she's seeing the reaction to whether she wants to work on it or not. This is the same advice that I would give to you when you're about to shoot a music video. Before you spend 10 grand or whatever your budget is on a music video, test the song and see if the song is even catching traction. Don't just put all your eggs in a basket. Do other little content with your phone first and see if it works. And then you can kind of invest all the money. But I think the big budget videos, unless you're at a certain level, are kind of maybe you don't really need them right now. There's other ways to market.
I had an observation though after doing that, because I did, I have like 2 things that I did from, or actually recorded from, that little session that I did. And I think my levels are all just too hot when I'm in there because it sounds so loud to me, right? And
Mm,
that sounds stupid. But no, it in my performance of it, because I look back later and I go, performance is so demure. The performance is so not as loud and big and bold as I want it
mhm.
to be. And that's kind of my thought every time I look at something that I've recorded where it's just me and the piano. And I think you've made that comment before, that I have this tendency to go into this, what do you call it? Like balladly, you
Yeah.
know, dark pop rather than like a belting thing. And I think that's just my
Some of that.
style.
No, for sure, for sure. But your comfort zone. But at the same time, though, I think a little tip that might be helpful for you in just trying to get into that headspace, is just maybe just turning down your headphones.
Right.
Just
I think
turn
it's I
turn
think it I think it might even just be something like that, because I'm like, "Oh, it sounds so whatever."
Yeah, so if because on the way that you're set up, with your mixer and stuff, you have a nice clear mix, and so
Yeah.
if you just kind of turn things down, maybe you're not pushing as hard as maybe you could. So, a
What
lot
I've
of times with artists, that's also what I'll tell them. It's like, it's little things like your headphones that can change the difference of your performance. It's little things like, literally just kind of bouncing a little bit while you're getting in it while you're doing your performance
Right.
to capture the energy. So,
Well, and I'm doing it live, like legit live, because I understand one way that you can make this content is you record it beforehand and then you record a little video of you lip syncing to it, which is okay. But I'm actually trying to do it live. So
yeah,
that means, I'm probably not going to use takes if there's issues with the performance. So anyway, I think that's what I want to work on mostly this year as a singer. It's not only working on my belting and kind of bigger voice, but doing it in a way that I can do it how I like to just be at the piano,
right.
me and
Well,
just
effort it's
simple.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, it's like you always say, it's like you have to take all the pain points in front of you. So with recording, you have, okay, well, now you're gonna record, so now you're gonna need to make sure that it's absolutely perfect. And then you're going to sit there, and then you're gonna have to edit it. Then you're gonna have to get the levels right. Then you're gonna have to
Yeah,
export it. Then like whereas if just set aside, half an hour and you're gonna do like 4 or 5 takes, you got it. It's kind of done. So it's a lot of, whatever makes it the easiest for you to execute.
that's right. All right. Well, with that being said, I think the next segment is just all me. Anything
Yes, it
else?
is. No, I will see you guys later on the wrap up, when we give all of our final goodbyes. Like,
We'll
yeah.
see you on the thing. All right, guys. So I want to talk about publishing. This is a good one. Please take out your notepads. Does anyone else have notepads like me? I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed. What size are these? You need to all get them. They're like 7x4, I think. They're the legal pad. And I just love them. Anyway, get your notepads out because this is really helpful information. And if you do anything in the music business, this is going to give you some insight into all the things. I was a little inspired this week talking to a client who was asking for clarification on publishing because he's in the middle of negotiating a deal. And this is with, the producer and the songwriter and all the people who were involved. And so the question is, well, we need to do points and we need the publishing and we need the masters. How does this all work? And so I go, all right, I'm gonna clarify this and hopefully do it in a way that's super simple so that you can negotiate your own deals and have kind of authority over this moving forward. If you're excited, smash that like button and let's keep going. So the definition of music publishing, right? Very simple. Music publishing refers to the business of managing and exploiting the musical composition. Okay. So the composition is just the song. If you sat there with the piano and you sang, or the guitar and you sang and you did the thingies, the song you came up with is called the composition. And then when we actually put it into a recorded version, so it's a sound recording, that's now the master. Okay. So that's why we kind of put it into 2 groupings here. We have the song, which could be recorded and re-recorded and done all kinds of things with, but it's still the song composition. And then we have the master, which is recording of the composition. And typically, the record label is going to own the recording. So that's why we have the Taylor Swifts of the world who go and re-record her songs because she has the right to do that because she doesn't own the masters anymore. But she will re-record and make her own new versions once her contract has expired for that. Anyway, So besides, kind of understanding the difference between those two, music publishing is, well, we go, I need a publisher. I need to get, I need to have someone sign me right away and they're going to make all my dreams come true. Not exactly. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about how they kind of fit into this. We have the songwriters, we have the people who make the music, and then we have the publishers who go and represent the music, which typically means they are helping to register your music on PROs. That's one. And a PRO is a performance rights organization. If you're in the United States, that's going to be ASCAP, that's going to be CSEC, that's going to be BMI. Personally, I've been with BMI forever. If you're not in the United States, you'll have a different organization in your country. In any case, this is the company that collects publishing related to your composition. So we have songwriters, the publishers, and then the PROs who collect the monies. And so typically the PROs are going to say, well, we just need to know who to pay. And so it really is as simple as you going and setting up your own songwriter or publisher account, if applicable, on the PRO and just telling them who to pay. And so, kind of the workaround that a lot of people just don't even know is the case is you actually can collect 100% of your publishing. You don't need a publisher. And that's just how these PROs are set up. They don't want to deprive you of your money and be like, the only way you can get your money is to go and hire a publisher or sign with a publisher. No, that's not how it works. You don't need a publisher. You can collect your publishing. You just have to go register your music. All right. And it just needs to be on one of the platforms. So I said, like for the US, BMI, ASCAP, just pick one. They're pretty much the same. All right. So now, what I would be remiss to not mention this in this whole process of protecting your publishing, getting the copyright registration is super important, because even if you go sign with a publisher, and we'll talk about what that, kind of looks like in a second, you still need to go and actually get your registration, right, with the US Copyright Office, because I always talk about if you have to enforce because someone steals your song, you give me a call. Hey, we need to file a lawsuit. I go, hey, have you registered your music? Because it's a prerequisite. You have to do that before we can go and actually file for you. And then there's statutory damages, which means if you don't have the registration, before the infringement happens, you can go to a pot of money that's really little, like this usually. If you have your registration, you get to a pot of money that's kind of like this. All right, that's an oversimplified way of just saying it, but it makes a difference, okay? So in your publishing process, just make sure that when you make the song, and certainly before you release it, right, in a recorded version or otherwise, please make sure you get your copyright. All right, and if you need help with that, contact Delgado Entertainment Law. I'll link it down for you. All right, types of publishing deals. So we can split these into a couple different categories. If you're like, nah, Krystle, I absolutely need a publisher to help me, cool, love it. We can do administration deals. And this is pretty common, where they come in and publishers will be like, hey, we'll register your stuff with PROs, not just in the United States, but in all the countries. And we're also going to help with any licensing that you need to do, the collection of the royalties, and they'll take a fee. You can also do co-publishing deals where the agreement would say you are assigning, the copyright to the publisher during the term of the representation, so they can do more things on behalf of you. And then finally, there's sub-publishing deals, which means that the publisher can get a sub-publisher to represent you as well. Okay, so, we can do all kinds of ways, but like at the end of the day, you just have someone who is helping to essentially register the music and deal with licensing, which PS, you can do by yourself. And I just want to emphasize that, because I'm not trying to like get someone out of a job and be like, don't work with the publishers, they're terrible. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just going, be clear that you can represent your own publishing, and they've made it so easy for you that you don't even have to register as a publisher with the PROs. You just register as a writer, if that's what you are, and you just make sure to collect 100% of all of the publishing. All right. So then, royalties and income. It's really important that you understand that when we talk about mechanical royalties, that's from the sound recording from your music distributor, from music platforms. So that's not applicable to the publishing. It's just know that that's a different type of income that comes in. So when you're negotiating your deals and you're like, Krystle, should I give the producer some publishing royalties, or should I give him mechanical royalties? And the answer to that is, well, from what earnings do you want that person to participate? And kind of a creative way to do this, if you're like, no, I want to own 100% of my music, I don't want to have to do accounting every year and pay people out, is just give people a little taste of the publishing. And you do that by saying, all right, Johnny, I'm going to give you 15% of publishing. So that means when I go to register my song on BMI, for example, then I'll input the information, say Johnny's going to get 15%. And so then BMI is going to pay Johnny his 15% forever. And that means you have to do no accounting, no administration. That's amazing. So that's why I mentioned the mechanicals. I just go, look, there are other revenues that come in from the actual streams and the digital downloads and all of that. And depending on how you want to negotiate the deal, you can have the person participate or not participate in that. All right. So finally, the collection of the royalties. All right. So we have the PROs, we have distribution companies, we have all these different places where monies are coming in. And you need to make sure that you just understand the difference. And so I just want to give you this clarity piece, which is we have mechanical royalties coming in from the sound recording, coming in from music platforms. We have the performance royalties coming in from the publishing, which is related to the composition, which is everything we're talking about right now. But then lastly, we have synchronization royalties, right? Which typically comes in from having your music in TV shows and movies and video games. So these are kind of the three big pots of royalties that you need to be concerned about. And there's different ways to collect those different things. Today, we're focusing on the middle one, which is publishing, and that's related to the actual composition. So now a couple pro tips. If you're hanging with me right now, you're amazing. All right, make sure you subscribe so that you get all the good, juicy information for free, okay? So the pro tips that I would offer with what I've seen doing this for like almost a decade now, number one is when you do a publishing deal of some kind, any kind, it's cool. I dig it. If you need help, please get it. So if you are going to sign with someone, please make sure in the agreement that it talks about transparency and the statements. I am fighting literally right now in regards to this, and it's a huge deal because it's a big artist and it's all this stuff. And the publisher represented the music for a very long time. And what typically happens is that as the producer, as the musician, as the songwriter, we expect someone else to do their job, aka the publisher, and to collect the money and to pay us when we need to be paid, and we're required to be paid under the contract. But if they don't, it's very important in the contract that it says, what do we do? So we go in the contract, hey, you have to provide a statement every quarter. Hey, the statement needs to provide a reasonable breakdown of what song, what was taken, were there fees taken off the top, all the things. And then if there is not that clarification, that's where we run into problems. Like what happens if they haven't done the accounting? Can we audit? So that's where I always go back to, man, you got to have a contract and you have to have a decent contract. That's where you get an attorney to help you. It's worth the investment, I promise. Because, otherwise then you're having a fight after the publisher stealing your money for 10 years and you've lost to like $20,000 versus paying the $500 to have an attorney review it for you. So in any case, statement transparency is number one. Number two, lost agreements. Please save your agreements. All right. So the next thing is like, hey, Krystle, I need you to deal with this publisher who hasn't paid me. And I go, all right, let me see the agreement that you signed. I have no idea where it is. I can't find it. I don't know what the terms were. That just puts us in a challenging place of where to start. Doesn't mean all is lost. It's fine. You can get some help, but it just makes it a tiny bit more difficult. And number three, post-termination concerns. If you do have a publisher and then you terminate at some point, just remember that you do need to go back to the PRO where your stuff is registered and send a little letter. All right. And usually it's just like an email. There might be a physical address you have to send it to, but you have to let them know to update the information, because guess what happens? The publisher does not do you any favors. If you terminate with the publisher already went through all the headache of registering all your music under their name on the PROs, which is how they're getting paid. And so then what happens, and this includes like Universal, I swear it does, like the biggest companies, they do not make these administrative updates. They expect you to. And so you have to know that this is a step you need to take to be like, hey, here's all the songs, here's all the information, all the stuff you need to update. I am now the 100% owner. This publishing company is no longer representing me. And to make sure you actually get paid. Because then if you don't, guess what? All your money continues to go to that publisher and then they never tell you. Again, all the places where I get involved. And I'm like, hey guys, literally, hey Universal, you've been collecting this huge legacy acts catalog for like 5 years. We terminated. What's the deal? And they're like, oopsies. Yeah. This is just how we do it. I swear it's crazy. So anyway, that's your overview as far as how publishing works. But I just want to emphasize you can do it yourself. You can collect 100% of your money. You don't even need to set up a publishing company. But if you wanted to, it's just as simple as setting up a limited liability company. You have your own LLC. You use that. You register it as a publisher, but it just usually means more fees if you register as a publisher on BMI or ASCAP versus being a writer. So the workaround, in my opinion, is just do it as a writer, unless you really need a publishing company. Just do it as a writer. You can collect all the monies and make sure you are, in fact, collecting all your monies. Subscribe, and I'll help you with collecting all your royalties. Thanks for watching. All right, there we go. I get lost in the abyss. I swear I do. I get lost in the abyss of just like we're moving. We're swimming through so much information when we do these videos, and because I can just go off on these huge tangents, man, about the copyright and the mechanicals and all this stuff. So I hope this makes sense. Just my goal is just always to give you guys as much as humanly possible to at least plant the seed for stuff we're not really talking about. And so anyway, I appreciate you hanging with me. Most of you are still on this live stream, which you are amazing. All right, where's that Orko? Let's bring him on back.
Hello. So I just wanted to give an update. Like I said, we did have that poll that's going on the YouTube channel. If you are watching the show anywhere else on Facebook, LinkedIn, if you're watching in the Facebook group, we are broadcasting for the first time in the Facebook group. Join the community over here on Top Music Attorney on YouTube. That's where the poll is. And the question was, do you think Kat Von D should be allowed to tattoo whatever she wants? And 96% of you think that she should be able to just do whatever she wants.
All right.
So there's that.
All right. And then, sorry, I didn't see this question. Let me just hit it really fast. So if someone wants to schedule a coaching call, which I definitely do, actually go through my law firm. So it's Delgado Entertainment Law. You can just Google us and then you'll reach out. You'll probably get my case manager, which is Tremaine, and then he'll walk you through the whole process. So just reach out. We can do like 30 minutes and I got you covered.
Very cool.
Yeah. All right. Great info. Yeah. So look, with the letter, I promise there is a reason why sometimes hiring an attorney helps. The letterhead of an attorney sending the demand helps. It just does. And to me, it quite frankly pisses me off. I had a client who was asking someone else to, fix something that they needed to. 100% they needed to. And they just ignored her. And they wouldn't do it. And then I stepped in. And I literally asked the same thing in my lawyerly voice, in my lawyerly email. And, lo and behold, right away, of course, you're right. We're going to get this taken care of. And that just pisses me off because, you made my client pay money unnecessarily and, just because I'm an attorney. So I think it's stupid, but it helps. And it gets the job done depending on how serious it is.
Nonetheless. What do you want to? You want to hit some of this stuff on the way out, or what do you got?
Yeah, what do you got? Wrap up, boy.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about how we have that weekly newsletter that we send out that you can get right now. We have a link down in the description, but you can just go to topmusicattorney.com and you can sign up for our newsletter, and you get stuff weekly, information that you can use, special offers. You get a lot of just like things before anyone else does on that newsletter. So make sure that you do that. If you want to work, with Miss Krystle herself and help grow your music career, you can go to topmusicattorney.com/apply, or there's another little button on there you can hit for apply, and you can see if that is something that is a good fit. And then what else?
And look, guys, I mean, to be honest, whenever you reach out, whether you're like messaging me on Instagram or emailing me or applying or anything, my thing is just always to direct you where you can get the help you need. And sometimes I just direct you back to YouTube videos because you're like, hey, I need to know how to do this thing. I'm like, great, here's the free way to do it. So, if you do need help, it's more of just you're telling me what you do, what are you doing? How can I assist? Like, that's really the goal of everything.
And that, you can always just get a hold of her on IG or whatever as well if you need some extra help. But let's talk about the big one that I really want to talk about and just remind you guys about is the 35 ways to make money from music. This was a really good video that we dropped a couple of weeks ago, but more so, there is a free PDF that you can download right now that lists all the different ways that you can literally start making money with your music today. And so this is just this year, I've spoken earlier about just being a huge for me for just looking at where money is being wasted, where more income can come in. And this video and PDF is super powerful. You can get that link down below. It's also, I believe, pinned in the chat if you're watching live. Do not leave before you get that PDF. It is incredible. And another free resource, and it's free. And another great free resource that we're doing, I hate to keep bombarding you, but I really want you guys to learn this stuff, is the free music business jumpstart training, which also has free PDFs in there of there's a marketing schedule, which will, the
Yeah,
biggest problem is
yeah.
marketing and people not having a posting schedule for their social media. And this literally breaks it down for you and tells you what kind of content on Monday, what you need to be doing, how you need to be doing it. But
No,
then
and
it
it's literally
also,
my
oh,
schedule. PS. It's
yeah,
literally my schedule that I used when I first was trying to get myself into posting more regularly. It's tough. I get it. So anyway, people have been finding it really helpful. So if you want to get it just for that, do it.
yeah, definitely. I'm really get it to take a look at it and get inspired because it's so intimidating to post. The amount that you need to, but I'm telling you, this makes it super easy. Also included is a free split sheet template for you. So when you're working with collaborators, producers, and stuff, you can figure out your money right because it's all about maximizing our earning this year.
Yeah.
And then of course the podcast and stuff. But
That's right. We got you on all the things, guys. Well, we covered a ton, and I
big
feel like
show, big show.
we did it. We did it so concisely. So we do have the cover. We teased it a little bit at the beginning, but we'll be back. And we've been trying new things for the fam that follows on the Instagram. Your feedback is awesome there because we're always, it's a different thing. We do the long form videos here on the YouTube channel because it's just like long form learning
Right.
versus a 15-second clip. And so if you guys do follow there just to kind of see the new things that we've been trying.
And also, I'm going to drop right now in the YouTube chat, and I'll probably put in there. I don't usually drop this in here, but I'm going to drop a link to our student group, it's a private Facebook student group. And again, I never drop this in here, but we're going to be doing something really special next Thursday. We have little student meets and huddles and stuff of just different musicpreneurs like yourselves and just people in the industry. And we get together and have these meetings and just kind of see where everyone kind of needs help and where, these kind of things. And we're going to be broadcasting it next Thursday in our Facebook group. It is a private group. So, but I'm going to drop that link right now in the live chat.
So we were talking about this today. I want to do a masterclass because I got some feedback and everyone's really needing help specifically with music marketing. And so I want to do a free masterclass for you guys, but we'll do it only in the Facebook group. So we haven't announced it yet. So I guess this is the first mention. So go join that. That's in
Well, if you're on the newsletter,
chat.
you got the announcement if you were on the newsletter, which we spoke about earlier, the weekly newsletter, which you sign up on the website there too as well. Links are also in all that stuff. And you would have got the information and you would get the links to where you need to go.
Yeah, what he said.
Yeah.
All right, beautiful faces. We continue to enjoy you in every way. We continue to appreciate you.
Yes.
In everywhere. That Orko, thank you for joining the show, guys. We'll be back every week Thursday. Well, until we change it, we're talking about maybe doing a different day. We don't want to be crazy here, but
we're not gonna overload y'all, but we may be switching to another day. Well, but in the chat real quick, Thursday, you're all here Thursday, so Thursday works for you. You're used to Thursday. How would you feel about a Wednesday situation?
Yeah, we'll do a little poll right now in the chitty chat.
Same time.
What do you guys think if we change it? So same time, so at least it's 5 p.m. MS PST, which is 6 p.m.
Arizona,
which is 7 p.m. EST.
Is it? No, they're further than that.
No, it's just 2 hours. Just 2 hours. Come on, guys. Let's go in the comments. You all acting like we got all day.
We got a Wednesday in there. So yeah, I mean, I don't think it's gonna make that much of either one for me. Yeah, Yeah, I'm. We may do it. We may do it. I think it could be. Will end up being way more impactful on a Wednesday. Um, as far especially for the when you guys actually get the clips and you kind of see how they edit them. Make sure if you're watching the live, you come back and watch some of these clips that we're doing. She also did a reaction video earlier this week that we dropped. So
Yeah, and if you
it'll be
missed the
fun.
link because you might be on a different platform or something, just go to Facebook, go to Top Music Attorney, and search groups, and you'll find it.
Oh, I was just
Right?
giving that. I was just giving that special out for the people that happen to be on the live with us right now. I wasn't trying to really broadcast how to find it. It's a private
Well,
group.
there we go. There we go. There we go.
Private.
All right, good. Looks like everyone's good to go. All right, guys. With that being
Cool.
said, we're gonna watch a little cover song. We'll be in the cheat chat for a little bit, and we'll see you next week.
Y'all appreciate it.
Don't cry to me if you love me. You would be here with me. You want me? Come find